It may be obvious to most what the answer to this question is, but I still think it deserves to be asked. Why, in all his Femto-y Griffithy badness, has Griffith/Femto not yet killed Guts, the murderer of his disciples, the entity that directly opposes him, just a plain nuisance? It would be easy, right? Use his space powers to crush Berserk into a tiny little ball. Why not just get it over with? He seemingly intended to at the eclipse, after torturing him of course, but was revoked of such a pleasure by our Scully friend. Or was that his intention at all? Would he have let him go whether the Skull Knight had intervened or not? Perhaps. Perhaps all Griffith wanted was to make Guts hurt, to see him dread, and planned on letting him go either way. Why though? Why would he let this happen? Why go through the effort of torture only to let him escape? It would have to mean he cares, right? Somewhat, about Guts and his survival. In Volume 3, the first time we ever see him, Griffith explains that even though Guts the Black Swordsman has slaughtered several of the God Hand's apostles, this mass slaughtering is simply insignificant to them. Griffith doesn't even deem him worthy of the respect he'd give an insect. Now, you could chalk this up to a lingering hatred, intentionally attempting to get a rise out of Guts, which I would consider to be evidence of Griffith still caring, or you could take him at face value. It does seem like Guts isn't really making a dent in the apostle-killing game. No one is, assumedly. There's always more waiting around the corner. So, what Griffith says is true. Perhaps why Griffith let Guts go is, well, because it wasn't worth the effort. Letting him go meant nothing to Griffith, just like killing him would mean nothing either. There's definitely a chance that both are true, though. That smug face screams, yes, please, I want you to be angry. He's taunting him, toying with him. That in itself is a potential great reason to believe Griffith doesn't want Guts dead. Maybe he enjoys this type of interaction far too much. Guts could be seen as Griffith's ultimate plaything. Or what's more likely is that this taunting and provoking is simply Griffith's uninhibited demonic god-handy nature shining bright as hellfire. He's evil, and that's that. Upon the Hill of Swords, after Griffith's second transformation, he talks to Guts in a very nonchalant manner. The arrogance we saw before seems slightly subdued, yet it is still quite obvious that Griffith's demeanor is meant to provoke the man that stands before him. You can't tell me you see this face and don't think the same thing. Guts asks why Griffith is there, and Griffith tells him it's because he wanted to know whether or not he truly no longer felt anything towards him, and he claims not to. Him protecting Casca moments later might be immediately surprising, but when you realize it's his shared body taking action, it makes total sense. Griffith wouldn't have protected her if it were up to him, but since he is one with Guts and Casca's child, he's forced to. Griffith was 100% ready to let Guts get torn apart by Zod that day. Griffith only called Zod off out of unexpected embarrassment as a result of the child's protective actions. Embarrassment towards himself, of course. I really doubt he cares what Guts thinks of him at this point. Griffith doesn't even care about seeing Guts until Griffith himself re-enters the mortal world. He must not be into Guts that much if he's willing to go years without a word spoken between them. That reunion could definitely have been expedited if Griff had truly desired such a thing. But no, unfortunately all signs point to apathy. Griffith letting the Skull Knight escape with Guts and Casca at the end of the eclipse was most likely simply a lack of desire to continue to put forth the effort, rather than a desire to keep his former friend alive. A good rule of thumb is, if Griffith ever acts in a way that is human, with compassion, it's either because he must appear kind toward his kingdom in order to maintain his guise of being a ruler the people would want to follow, or it's because the demon/moonlight child is taking over for him. And it's very easy to believe Griffith as it is. He thinks Guts is the equivalent of dirt, no threat whatsoever, so why waste any energy killing him? There'd just be no point. But I like to believe that there could be part of old Griffith still left. That he still acts the way he does around Guts because he takes joy in their interactions. He keeps him alive as a sort of trophy, one he can always go back to if he needs to feel mighty. Of course, Griffith is mighty, but even some of the most successful and powerful people feel the compulsion to keep safe what drove them into the position they're in today. Maybe Golden Age Griffith is in there somewhere still, deep down. It's unlikely, given all of the Femto-y evidence we've been given, but hey, you never know. That's about all. There really isn't much to say on the matter, but I wanted to address the question anyway. Thanks for watching, and may the God Hand bless you with a fist bump.